Back at one of my favorite dive spots here in the Northeast. This time of year in September, the water is warm and the visibility is really good. I'm going to be using the D2 today. I'm going to use it in dive mode with just a couple tweaks. I lowered the sensitivity down to 90. Keeping the salt sensitivity up to 9, which makes it a little chatty, but it's incredible the depth you're getting. So I'd like to leave it there. And I also have the audio response all the way up, which makes deep targets sound similar to shallow targets. You'll see in the video I get fooled a couple of times where I'm just waving the surface sand and end up having to dig because it could be a target 8 inches down and it's just blasting loud. But I need to run it like this because it's hard to hear. So faint signals just don't work. It's fine on land, but underwater you need it blasting loud. Between water in your ears, the breathing, and the wetsuit hood, you need to have it as loud as possible. So that's why I have all the deep targets sounding the same as the shallow targets. I have about 20 feet of rope on this dive flag, and I'm only going to be in about 10 feet of water, maybe 12 feet. So first thing I do is shorten up the flag so it doesn't drift far away from where I am. And it's very simple to do. Just wrap it up and then put it back down, and this way the flag stays right above me. This first signal was blasting loud, and when I went to all metal pinpoint, you could barely hear it. It's very, very faint. This is a deep one, and reading 90, it could have been any kind of a coin. Some sort of medallion. Looks like it was gold plated at one time. A nice solid hit that read 81, and you could tell it was deep. This next signal was only a foot or two away, and it read 94, 95, which is usually where the quarters fall. I was surprised to see what it was. Interesting story. Last year I found one of these Apple Watches, and 2 days later I got a knock at my door, and somebody, very nice young guy, comes up and says, by any chance, sir, do you happen to have a watch that you might have found? Apparently there's some sort of tracking inside these watches, and even though I couldn't turn the watch on or power it up, apparently it was still working, so it got back to the original owner. This one's the same way. It's not working, but who knows, I might get a knock on the door. You could hear by the all-metal pinpoint that this was a very shallow target. There was an abundance of these gold-plated earrings. This small sterling silver earring read 91. For better targets or targets that are too small that might fall through the mesh in the mesh bag, I use this little yellow canvas pouch. This large silver earring read 86. This is an example where in discriminate it was blasting loud and I thought it was shallow, so I was just waving my hand a little. But when I put it in all metal pinpoint, you could hear how deep it was. And that's the beauty of using this audio response all the way up. Everything real deep just sounds blasting loud. Just have to get used to it. Gave me a scare thinking it was solid gold, but this is just a plated chain and it read 49. When you hear that double beep, it usually means it's very close to the coil. This silver-plated earring was reading 65. Right nearby was this silver dollar, or called actually a sand dollar, silver plated ring that read 89. Once again, the signal was blasting loud and discriminate, so I wasted time just waving on top thinking it was shallow, but when I went to all metal pinpoint, I could hardly hear it. It was so deep. This solid silver ring with some sort of mother of pearl inlay read 96. Sometimes you get lucky and just eyeball things. In this case, I got a 90 signal, which is usually a clad dime, maybe a older copper penny. But the first thing I saw was not detected with this detector. This is a 14 karat earring with what looks to be a nice stone. Can't tell if it's real or not. Needs to be tested, but this was totally just eyeballing it. Clad dime. This one was deep and read 93, and it's an irregular shaped object, so it was a little harder than usual to pinpoint. So I'm going to fast forward through the digging here. It has that old saltwater silver color to it, and it ended up being a Hershey's Kiss made of solid sterling silver. Very different. This good looking piece read 71, but it ended up being a gold plated earring. Small little choppy signal ended up being an open gold plated earring. A gold plated letter M with a hole on the side, so it was mounted on some sort of chain at one time. This type of signal always gives me a scare. It read 48, ended up being a stainless steel ring. Huh. Sterling silver name tag with a little gold chain. Huh. Huh. As you can hear, it gave me a scare, but it's just a little butterfly gold-plated pin of some sort. Another gold-plated open earring. As I start to dig, you're going to hear two different tones. Huh. First one was a zinc penny. And then this signal, I just eyeballed. It's another small 14 karat gold earring, but this is not the signal that we heard. silver-plated open earring. Time to be getting out soon. You can see the debris starting to float by. The current slowly starts to pick up strength. Small, open, gold-plated earring. This little gold-plated medallion read 74. It looked great coming out. You can see the current taking the metal detector as soon as I let go of it to put the medallion in the bag. Getting hard to hold my ground now, so I'm grabbing the flag and heading back in. There's still a lot of signals here, so I will be heading back shortly. This area is still pretty amazing. All these targets came out in about an hour and a half, so I really could have let the video just run and not do any editing, but I think an hour and a half video would be too long. I cut it down just showing the decent stuff. I didn't show many coins, but as you can see, this place was loaded. So I'll be back there again shortly because I know I left a lot of signals there. This next picture here is all the stuff that's definitely silver. This first ring I cleaned up, you could see it's got some kind of mother of pearl inlay, and here it is after being cleaned by electrolysis and then tumbled. Same thing with this Hershey's Kiss. This is sterling silver and it's solid. You can see the bottom's marked, but after doing electrolysis and tumbling, here it is. It came out decent, and you could read on the bottom pretty clearly. The name tag was also silver, very dark. It cleaned up nice along with some of these other silver pieces. The first signal I got was this medallion, and it looks like it's gold plated. After tumbling that, it cleaned up pretty nice. The two items I know are gold are these two earrings, and one of them's got a real decent stone in it. There's no scratches on it, so I have to test it out and see if it's real or not. This sand dollar ring looks like it's silver plated. There's no markings in it, but it's real clean. There's also a stainless steel ring. This chain was gold plated at one time. Most of the gold platings come off. This little medallion, 777, not sure, but it's definitely not real gold. It looks like it's, again, just plated. And then this, last but not least, is a letter M, and it's got a loop. Looks like it was worn on a chain at one point. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll definitely be back there again and post another video.